Okay, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for being here again. It's a pleasure, to have students as usual. So thank you very much for keeping me company and making this activity possible. Without students, this obviously wouldn't be possible. So thank you very much for your presence. I really appreciate it. And I always see the same names, so it means that you're really committed to this, and that's always positive. Okay, so I hope you had a wonderful recess last week. You had the possibility to share with your family, with your friends, to do the things you like. Okay, that was more or less the idea of the recess. So now I suppose you have recharged your batteries and you're ready to go for the rest of the semester. That's ideally, what we expect. And today we are supposed to begin with a new unit. Remember that I gave you a piece of homework. You were supposed to do a reading activity. Um, and that's the unit we are supposed to begin today. We are going to speak about prohibition, obligations, necessity. Okay, so that's more or less the idea. But we are going to begin with something different. I'm gonna show you some pictures or some signs that we can come across in different scenarios. And the idea is to try to imagine in what places we could come across these signs. And also the idea is to try to determine what's the message behind each sign, because a sign is a sign. It's like a picture with little text, but obviously behind that picture with little text, there is a message, right? So I'm going to share with you that so we can start exploring this topic. So look at this, set of signs, okay? There are different signs that we can find in different places. So what we have to do first is to try to imagine in what places we could find these signs. And the second thing we need to do is to try to think, what is the message behind each sign? Because usually when you find a sign, in a particular place, those signs are, in a sense, giving you a message, which means obligation, prohibition, recommendation, necessity, etc. Okay? So let's go one by one, checking. Okay, let's see if we can come up with some ideas. So look at the first one. Okay, look at the first one. Look at this one here. This one here. Okay, it says no food or drinks, please. So where do you think we would find this sign? In what place? Any idea?
Cinema.
Okay, so let's say I'm gonna write it over. I'm gonna write it over here, right there. Okay, so number one, we could say that we can find that sign, no food or drinks, please. It could be a cinema or a movie theater. Yeah, cinema is more British English. Okay, so British people say cinema. American English, American people usually say movie theater. Okay. Okay, so when you see that sign, no food or drinks, please, what does it mean? What is the message behind? What is the message? Is it an obligation, a prohibition, a necessity, a suggestion? What is it?
Prohibition.
It's a prohibition, right? And probably it's a you. Let me make it bigger. So you mustn't. Okay, it should be right there. Okay. You give me a sec. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. Okay, you. Oops, I made. Okay, give me, because I messed up. Give me a sec. Okay, okay, let me go back to the, okay. Okay, so the first one, you say it's the cinema or the movie theater, right? The movie theater. And that could be you, I'm gonna put it in big, you must not eat, I wanna make it bigger, right there. You must not eat or drink here, right? So that's the message. Okay, so when you see no food or drinks, please, it means you must not eat or drink here. Apart from the movie theater, can you think of another place where you can find this sign? Any other possible place?
In the church?
Okay, so in the church, you also can find that implication. What about a classroom? Is it possible in a classroom?
Yes.
Yeah, in a classroom, right? No food or drinks. Typically at Universidad de Chile, usually you have the sign, okay? No comer, no beber en la sala de clase. So this no food or drinks, please, could also be, in a classroom. So this sign we can find in a movie theater, in a school or in a classroom, in the hospital, so different places, right? And in this case, the message is must not, yes? And you can also say mustn't, right? Mustn't. So it could be positive or negative, right? Positive or negative. Okay, so let's continue. Look at the next one. The next one says, do not walk on the grass. Where can we find that one?
In a hospital?
Okay, could be a hospital. Could it be a park? Could it be in a park?
It could be weird because a park is to walk on the
Okay.
ground.
Could be in a garden?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to put here a garden. Okay. So it could be a hospital, a garden. And what is the message? You cannot, yes, or you can't. I want to make it bigger. You can't walk on the grass, right? That's the message. Okay. All right. Let's continue. What about the next one? It says, turn all cell phones off. Where can we find that sign? Could be in a hospital again.
In a plane?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Could be on a plane. Yeah, that's a good one. On a plane. Okay, let's put a plane and let's put also a hospital. Usually in hospitals, they say, okay, turn off your cell phones because they can affect, the machinery or the machines, connected to the patients. Okay. And obviously, turn off the cell phones. This is, again, you, I want to make it bigger. You mustn't use cell phones in this area. Okay. Okay. Very good. Look at the next one. It says, do not machine wash. Where do we find this little label or indication? Where do you find that little label?
What is the meaning of that instruction? What is machine wash?
Que no puedes lavarlo con lavadora. Tienes que lavarlo con la mano.
Okay, thanks.
So, where can we find that sign?
Our clothes.
Yeah, clothes, right? Cuando ustedes compran ropa, ¿cierto? Dice ahí la etiqueta de label, la etiqueta dice no lavar en máquina, lavar a mano, okay? No lavar a temperatura, etc., right? So in this case, we can say you, pongámosle shouldn't, okay? You shouldn't machine wash, because if you machine wash, you can spoil your clothes, right? Okay, very good. Let me find another one that can help me. Okay, look at the one here below. It says form a line on the left. The one that is at the bottom. Form a line on the left. Where do you think you can find that sign? Form a line on the left.
In an airport?
Could be at an airport. Very good. Oops. Airport. Could it be at a bank?
Yeah.
Yeah, could be at a bank. Okay, but pay attention now. If you find that sign at an airport or at a bank, form a line on the left. That means you must form a line on the left, right? Exact. Okay. Is that fair, please? Okay. Look at the next one. It says exact fair, please. The one that is on the right. Exact fair, please. Fair significa pago. Okay. Entonces, el pago exacto, por favor. O sea, no me paguen con 20 lucas. Okay. So exact fair, con cambio, con change. So where can we find that sign? Exact fair, please.
In a parking?
Okay, could be a parking lot, in a parking lot or a parking space. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, and what is the message? The message is you have to use, let's say pay. You have to pay with change, con cambio, ¿cierto? Con moneditas, con billetes. Okay? Okay, so if you pay attention, there are different signs, different graphical, information with some text in some of them, and each sign or label, in a sense, indicates an instruction, an obligation, a prohibition, or a recommendation. For example, look at the first one in the movie theater. It says, you must not eat or drink here. What is that? It's an obligation, a prohibition, a suggestion. What is it?
Prohibition.
Prohibition. Excellent. Look at the second one. Hospital or garden. You cannot or you can't walk on the grass. What is that?
Prohibition too.
Yeah, prohibition again, right? Look at the next one. Plane or hospital. You mustn't use cell phones in this area. What is it?
Prohibition?
Prohibition again, right? Very good. Then it says clothes. You shouldn't machine wash. What is that?
It sounds like a recommendation.
It's a recommendation, right? Whenever you use should or shouldn't, you use recommendation. Very good. But look at the last two, airport or bank. You must form a line on the left. What is that?
An obligation.
It's an obligation. Excellent, very good. And the last one, parking lot. You have to pay with change.
Obligation.
Obligation again. Very good. Okay, so as you can see, each sign that we can come across in different scenarios, in different places, one way or another, they indicate prohibition, obligation, suggestion, okay? And this is the topic we have to study today. Today we have to study the use of must, can, should, have to indicate prohibition, obligation, suggestion, or it is not necessary to do something, okay? That is the topic. Si quieren le sacan una foto, chiquillos, a este cuadrito, un pantallazo para que lo tengan como material adicional. So take a picture or screenshot if you want. Take a picture or a screenshot if you want. Okay, so you can have this material for your personal study later on. Okay, so I'm going to erase because I need to erase to move. So I'm going to erase this. And now we're going to go to the book, okay, because we need to start with a new unit. And this is the new unit we have to study. So you need to go to page 56. Go to page 56 in the book. Page 56. Okay, page 56. Page 56. Okay. All right, so in this unit, as I was telling you before, we are going to study the use of modal constructions or modal verbs to describe obligation, prohibition, suggestion, or it is not necessary to do something. So look at the first activity. In the first activity here, in the grammar section, we have to, obligation, don't have to, not necessary, must, obligation, mustn't, prohibition, and can't, prohibition. And look at the first activity. We also have some signs here. It says match the signs to the rules. So here we have 5 different rules, or let's say instructions. Below we have 5 signs that you need to connect with the sentences here. Okay, so you connect these sentences with these signs. And finally, below in letter B, you need to make the connection between the sentences, the instructions, the signs, and the rules for each expression. Is it clear? Is it clear, Carla, Janira, Diego?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Teacher?
So, yes.
In C, in the picture C, what is course fees?
Course fees son como los aranceles del curso, los pagos del curso.
¿Y advance?
In advance, con
Sí, in
anticipación.
advance.
Con
Okay.
with anticipation. La palabra fee significa arancel, también significa honorarios. Okay?
Okay.
And when you say in advance, that means with anticipation.
Okay, thanks.
Okay? Okay, so I'm gonna give you around 5 minutes, 6 minutes to connect instructions, signs, and rules. Okay? So you have 6 minutes. Go. All right. So we need to first we need to match the sentences, okay, the obligations, prohibitions, etc., with the corresponding sign. Okay, that's the first part of the activity. So what about number one? Janita, you begin. You read number one and you mention the sign.
You have to pay before the end of the month. Is the letter C.
Perfect, very good. What is that? Obligation, prohibition, suggestion, not necessary.
Obligation.
Perfect, very good. Nicole, what about number two?
Is letter B, I think.
Okay. And what is it? Is it obligation, prohibition, suggestion, not necessary? What is it?
Is suggested, I think.
Not exactly suggestion. When you use have to in negative form, it means it is not necessary. No es necesario. Okay? And why is not necessary? Because the admission is free. Okay? So that is something you need to consider. If you say you have to, okay, I'm gonna make it bigger. So if you say you have to, that's a obligation, right? Obligation. But if you say you don't have to, I'm gonna put it over here, right there. Okay. So you have to is an obligation. But if you use it in negative form, you don't have to, that means it's not necessary. It's not necessary. No es necesario. ¿Y por qué no es necesario? Porque dice admission free. You see? It says admission free. Acceso gratis. ¿Entendieron esa diferencia, chiquillos? Porque es súper importante que la logren entender. ¿Sí? Entonces,
Yes.
cuando yo digo you don't have to, no es una prohibición, porque ese es el típico error. Si yo digo you don't have to, no es una prohibición. You don't have to significa no es necesario que lo hagas. Okay, so be careful with that. That is important. Okay, very good. So number two, you don't have to pay is letter B, okay? And it means it is not necessary to pay because the admission is free. Very good. Number three, Maka?
You must not eat here. Letter E.
Letter E, and what is that?
An obligation.
Obligation. You must not, obligation? You must not eat here? Is it obligation?
It's a prohibition.
Prohibition, yes. It's a prohibition. Very good. Excellent. Okay. Number four, Emilio?
Is letter A.
Letter A. And what is it?
Obligation.
It's an obligation. Very good. And finally, number five, Carla?
You can't talk here. Letter D.
Letter D. And what is that?
Prohibition.
Prohibition. Very good. Excellent. Okay. So we have the sentences, we have the pictures. Okay. So now we need to connect this with the rules, okay? And the rules are below. Let me go a little bit below. Oh, right there. I think that's okay. Okay, so let's see the rules then. Okay, these are the rules for the use of these expressions. So you complete the sentence, okay? It says, number one, which two phrases mean it's a rule? There is an obligation to do this. You have to, and the other one is?
Must to.
Must. Sin el tú, acuérdate que
Must.
básico.
Sorry, must.
Yeah, you
Sorry.
must. So for obligation, we have you have to and you must. Very good, excellent. Which phrase means it isn't obligatory or it isn't necessary to do something?
Don't have to.
Excelente, muy bien. Don't have to. Perfect, very good. Very good. And finally, which two phrases mean it isn't permitted, it's against the rules?
Mustn't.
And?
Can't.
Perfect. So you mustn't and you can't are prohibitions. Very good, excellent. Any questions in the first activity? Any problems? Any questions in the first activity? Any problems?
No.
No, no problems? Okay, so let's see the next activity. Let's put into practice, let's put in a more communicative context these concepts. Look at the, I need to erase that because it's floating all over. I'm going to erase it right there. Okay, so look at this activity, okay? Activity D. Go to activity D below. Right there, activity D below. It says, with a partner, you're going to work alone, okay, individually. Complete 4 sentences about the school where you're learning English. Okay. Okay, we're going to do the following. For the first 2, we have to and we must, we are going to think about the university, okay? So what about obligations at the university? And for we don't have to, we mustn't, and we can't, I want you to think about your house, okay? What about the rules in your house? The things you can do, the things you mustn't do, the things that you don't have to do, okay? So the first 2 are for the university, and the last 3 are for the typical rules at home. Is it clear? Carla, Diego, Janira?
Yes,
Yes?
it's clear.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you 5 minutes to think of rules for the university and rules for your home, okay? So you have 5 minutes to think and create a sentence, okay? 5 minutes, go. All right, so in the first 2, okay, in the first 2, for we have to and we must, which are obligations, we had to think about the university, okay? So we have to. Any volunteer?
Me?
Janita?
Yeah, we have to be in class at the time they start.
Perfect. Another example would we have to?
We have to be quiet in classes.
Okay, we have to be quiet in classes, except in English classes, because in English classes you have to talk. Okay, that's the exception. Okay, must. Anybody with must? Any volunteer? Diego, Emilio, Nicole.
Me.
Okay.
We must be punctual in labs.
Okay, we must be punctual in class. Very
In the
good.
labs.
Ah, in the lab. Okay. Okay, so you cannot be late.
No.
Okay, all right. Okay. Must. Another person with must.
Me,
Okay, Diego.
we must bring our identification to the university.
Interesting. Very good. We must bring our ID cards or identification cards. What do we call it? ¿Cómo le llaman? La TUI? Yes. Excellent. Very good. Okay. Now we forget about the university and we think about our home, our house rules. Okay. We don't have to. Acuérdense que we don't have to significa no es necesario que nosotros. Okay. So anybody? We don't have to. Any volunteer?
I don't have to go to all classes.
Okay, you're talking about the university, okay? I don't have to go to all the classes, okay? Because it's open attendance. Okay, very good. Anybody else? You don't have to?
We don't have to do the iron.
Yeah, we don't have to do the ironing. To do the ironing, okay? That is the expression. To do the ironing. Hacer el planchado o planchar, ¿cierto? We don't have to do the ironing. Okay, that's it. That's very important. Okay. Now, prohibition. We mustn't. I mustn't. Any volunteer?
I am me. We mustn't eat at the bedroom.
Okay. We mustn't eat in the bedroom. In the bedroom.
No, in the bedroom.
Yes.
Okay.
We mustn't eat in the bedroom, in the bed. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Very good. And what about the last one? We can't. Also a prohibition. Anybody?
We can go out without feeding our pets.
Wow, that's a good one. We can't go out without feeding our pets. Excellent, very good, good examples. Okay, so as you can see, here we have different expressions for must, don't have to, etc. Okay, we're going to stop with this a little bit because now we are going to check the homework, okay? You were supposed to do a piece of homework for today, for me. You were supposed to read this text, remember? You were supposed to read this text here. And then you were supposed to answer these questions here, okay? These questions here. So before answering the questions, do you have any problems of vocabulary in the text? For example, in the first paragraph, any problems of vocabulary? Problems of vocabulary in the first paragraph? No, no questions in the first paragraph? Okay. Second paragraph. Any problems of vocabulary in the second paragraph? Any questions?
Profe, tenía una duda, ¿qué es beginner, una cosa así? Está como en la tercera línea, al principio.
Beginner, principiante. Principiante, beginner. Principiante.
And what is onto in the second paragraph?
Second paragraph, what line?
At the end.
At the end.
O sea, in the...
Yeah, I downloaded sentences in Spanish onto
Yeah,
my
onto.
smartphone. Onto significa hacia mi celular. Los descargué hacia mi celular, los descargué en mi celular. Ahí tienes que usar onto. Porque cuando yo digo, cuando yo digo en mi celular, yo digo on my cell phone. Por ejemplo, si yo quiero decir, tengo mucha música en mi celular, yo digo, I have a lot of music on my cell phone. Entonces, cuando tú descargas a tu celular, tienes que decir on to my cell phone. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions in that paragraph? No? Any questions in the last paragraph and in the tests? Any questions? Vocabulary? No? We are okay? Okay. So now we are going to do the questions. All right. So it says, read about Max, an American journalist who took an intensive Spanish course, then covered the article and answer the questions. Okay, and these were the questions you were supposed to answer, right? So let's see. Janita, what about question number 1? What reputation do Americans have?
That they don't learn easy languages, new languages.
Exactly, that they don't learn new languages easily. Yeah, very good. Okay. Very good. They don't learn new languages easily. Perfect, very good. Nicole, what about number 2?
He tried learn a new language for a week, 1 month.
Okay, so what was the experiment? He tried to learn a new language in 1 month? 1 month, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think it is possible, Nicole, to learn a new language in 1 month? Do you think it is possible?
I think in basic language, I think.
Like basic expressions.
Yes, but not all about the language.
Yeah, not bilingual.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Very good. Number 3, Maca, why did Max choose to learn Spanish?
Because he would like to visit Puerto Rico and other places in Latin America, and he doesn't want to be someone who expects everyone else to speak English.
Okay, very good. Very, very, very complete answer. Excellent. Very good. Number 4, Carla?
Where did he take the course? How long was it? Max take at a language
Took
at language school in Washington D.C. 1 month.
1 month. Okay. So he took a course in Washington D.C. for 1 month. Okay. Everybody agrees? ¿Todos de acuerdo? Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
1 month intensive.
Intensive, yeah, very good. So practically classes every day. Yes, that is intensive. Very good. Emilio, what about number 5?
He found easy some Spanish words, for example, hello, and he found difficult verbs and the pronunciation.
Okay, very good. Excellent, excellent. And the last question, Diego, I guess. Diego?
He had to order a drink and a sandwich in a cafe, ask how much it is, and understand the price.
Exactly.
He had to ask for directions on the street and follow them.
Okay.
He had to take a taxi to a historical building in San Juan. He had to leave a message on somebody's mail.
Okay.
And the rules are you can use a dictionary or a phrase book. You can speak English at any time. You can use your hand or mind or write anything down.
Okay, very good. Carla, in your opinion, which of these 4 tests is the most difficult one?
I think not difficult because it's very basic.
Yeah, so very basic things, very basic tasks. Okay, okay. Janita, do you agree that these are basic tasks, that they are easy, or some of them for you are complicated?
I'm sorry, I was in the bathroom. What was the question?
Okay, which of these 4 tests you consider more complicated for a person who is learning a language?
Two, cause when you don't know the language, you don't understand the pronunciation of all the person in the country, so they can help you and you don't understand anything.
Yeah, yeah. Well, in my opinion, the most difficult one is number 2. To give directions, I think is a very difficult topic. To give directions and to ask for directions, I think it is very difficult, you know. Even in Spanish, cuando voy caminando por la calle así y alguien me pregunta, oye, ¿dónde está la calle tanto? ¿O cómo puedo llegar? Yo al tiro digo, next, I pass. Porque me complica eso so my sense of orientation is not very good. So I usually get confused, okay? So asking for directions and giving directions for me it's a tough one. It's complicated for me. Okay, very good. Okay, I need to give you homework for next class. Okay, I want you to go to page 138. Go to page 138. Page 138. Okay.
Teacher,
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
When they say Americans, they are talking about
North
all
America.
Americans or just US people?
Sí, cuando dicen Americans, ellos se refieren a los norteamericanos.
Oh.
Sí. Es injusto, pero así funciona. Ellos generalmente cuando dicen American people, they mean North American people, US citizens. Yeah. Lo que no es muy fair, pero así lo interpretan ellos. Okay.
Tampoco los canadienses. Norteamérica.
No, porque los canadienses son Canadians. Ellos no son Americans, son Canadians.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So if you go to page 138, page 138 in the book. So here in section 7C, you have all the grammar explanation for the use of have to, don't have to, must, mustn't, and can't. So the first thing you need to do is to read all the grammar explanation, okay? So you can get a general idea of the rules of this topic. And then you go to the next page, 139. Again, section 7C, okay, this one here. And you do activities A and activity B for next class, okay? Any questions in the homework? ¿Dudas, chiquillos, en la tarea? Primero tienen que leer las reglas que están acá. ¿cierto? Aquí. Y luego van a la siguiente página y hacen los ejercicios que están acá. A and B. ¿Ok? ¿Alguna pregunta, chiquillos, antes de retirarnos? ¿Alguna duda que tengan?
No.
¿No? ¿Estamos bien?
profe.
No.
¿Listos para ir a tomar desayuno o no? Sí, pues. ¿O ya tomaron desayuno?
No.
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 Ya, entonces vayan a cumplir con esa deuda que tienen con sus organismos. Que tengan un lindo día, chiquillos. Disfrútenlo. Cuídense harto. Es un día soleado hoy día, así que si quieren darse una vuelta, pero con harto cuidado, protegiéndose, ¿cierto? Con su mascarilla y todo eso. Así que tengan una buena jornada. Cuídense harto, cuiden a su familia también. Un abrazo grande y nos vemos en la próxima clase, ¿ok? Bye bye.
Chao,
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye
Bye.
bye. See you
Bye.
guys.
Profe.
Bye bye. Bye bye.